program, I have been described as a guest of honor. But I've been with this process now 2 years. Honor, yes, but guest, no. I'm not a guest, I'm one of you. Honor, the honor belongs to my boss, the Secretary General. When I was asked last night to come here and do what I'm doing now, my first response was, but it's so late, why are you only telling me now? But if I'm one of the Somalians, I shouldn't be surprised by that. At the last minute, you get a call. So I'm not surprised, and I'm glad to be here. And when you are the last person to speak, everything that should be said has already been said. So I don't have to say it all again because we all heard it. In fact, we all learned something today. One of the things that struck me was that in Somalia we're told we're making no progress on this issue. In fact, we're going backward. So the question is why? The answer should be obvious because we have no government in Somalia. That we can organize society to deal with very big problems such as the ones we are discussing today. It's good to educate the people, let them know about it. But sometimes you have to go beyond that. You have to enforce what you are educating people about because it's not easy to change these kinds of customs. So the main contribution we can make is what we're trying to do in the peace process, to establish an all-inclusive, effective, functioning government for Somalia. But I have been here 2 years, and when I go abroad and people ask me questions, are the Somalis serious? Do they really want peace? I can answer that question. And the answer I give is yes, they want peace. Yes, they are working for peace. But the international community has to help them. I was away, I was in New York now, I was there presenting the Somali report to the Security Council, and this question was asked me. And I said, yes, the progress is being made, but the Somalis need more help from the international community. The agreement that was signed on the 29th was a big step forward. It needs recognition from the international community. It needs the backing from the international community, because if that does not happen, then we will make no progress. In fact, we will go backward.
وحين يروحوا بعض ما كسبين غير المساعدة إن international community حق ما يكسروا الحين هذه تاسع تجدات ما عسلني لما كسبين الخالصة ده بيساعدين أنا.
Some months ago I was asked what I thought was missing in this peace process, and I said that I thought one of the major countries, several of them, the permanent five they call it, should take a direct interest in the Somali peace process.
وفي لو بلادكم وحلا بيتيس وناس ما كجواب تدري نقطة عليه عن جوابه إن حيث شت الدولار وين يسميان أين الضلعية تسمى كثير الصوماليين.
So after speaking to the Security Council, I spoke to each of the permanent five. I spoke to the Russians, I spoke to the Chinese, I spoke to the Americans, I spoke to the British, and I spoke to the French.
markii aan maxay tahay gobolka gudbiye ka bacdi waan u gudbiyay maxay tahay golaha amaanka golaha amaanka haddana waxaa lahaa shanta dowladood oo xoog waaweyn ee sida ruushka sida maxay faransiiska sida maraykanka shanta dowladood ugu waaweyn oo dowladda
I did so not only at the level of their permanent mission, but also at the level of their capitals. I was in Washington, D.C., where I spoke to the people in the State Department, the responsible people in the White House. I was in the UK, I spoke in the Foreign Office, and also in France, I spoke to the Foreign Office there and to the Presidential Advisor on African issues, and all of them showed great interest in Somalia.
وغير ما كان كسبته وحالها دير ذلك مريكا واشنطن دي سي وحالها دير عقب قعد وحالها دير بيت الإنجليز كان وحالها دير بيت إدوار ما كان كده خصيصي ذلك كان دولاي مركي عذاب كان كده على قبل وحي موجيا إني دلائل يعني سوماليا.
So it is my hope that very soon we'll see something more concrete coming from the United Nations. I also spoke to the Secretary General at great length. I therefore feel that very soon we'll see something more concrete happening. But if there was no progress being made here, nobody would have listened to me. They would have said the Somalis are not serious. So therefore, what agreements we sign should mean something. People who sign them should be ready to implement them. When I newly joined this job and I was visiting Mogadishu, one of the things I told the Somalis was that the story of Solomon. He is described as the wisest man that ever lived. And to illustrate that, the story is told of two women who were claiming one child as their child. And then he said, okay, let's split the child in two. Each one of you will take half. And one woman said, yes, that's a good idea. The other one said, no, let her keep the child. And Solomon then knew who the mother was, because it was the mother who didn't want the child any half. So now in Somalia we have everybody claiming to love Somalia, to make sure Somalia lives, to make sure that the children have a future. Let them remember this story. Those who really care for Somalia will give up their rights, all of that. Children will have a future in Somalia. Because as parents, we have to make sacrifice for our children. And and therefore, if we care for Somalia, we must give up, in the short run, things that we believe to be our rights so that the country can have a future. So on a day like today, when we are remembering the role of women, the importance of our mothers, it's so important to make this understanding that they are making sacrifice. They are making it possible for life to go on. They are the people who we first learned values from. So it's very important the role that women play. One of the questions people always ask me, have you discussed this issue in the peace process? Have you discussed female genital mutilation? Have you discussed AIDS? Have you discussed refugees? And of course we have discussed these things, and we can discuss them more. But it is not enough just to discuss them. We have to go beyond discussing them. We have to get to the point where the government of Somalia will be able to do something about these issues. Unless we have a government, then we're just discussing. First time I went to China, I saw a slogan. It said, "Our women are important because they hold up half of the sky." In Somalia, you could go further. They do more than that. They hold up more than half of the sky. At a time when people are away from home, going to fight and do very many things that are not positive, even to be in this conference here. There are many men here who should have been home, helping to take care of their responsibilities. But the women are there. Few of you are here, but most of you are there, making sure not just that peace comes, but that Somalia survives, so that when peace comes, you will have people, you have children who have been taken care of to make Somalia go forward. So I will stop here because I could go on and on, but I think the basic point I wanted to make has been made. My next responsibility is to present some awards, but before doing that, let me say how important occasions like this is, and that we should all remember that